Welcome back to another Tera Plays Tera video. Today's video I'm going over Ice Throne Normal Mode, just a mech guide for Tera Console. I do want to state I'm pulling some clips from PC videos as we burn too far and don't see all of the attacks. So, the first portion I'm going to start off basically just the major mechs that you're gonna see throughout fighting in some type of order of where they should spawn. So the first thing you're gonna see is Puddles, white versus black. If it's white, you have to stay in and then go out 10 meters. If you see the black Puddles, you have to go out 10 meters and then dodge in. So here we have white, you wanna stay in and then run out. Here's black Puddles. You'll see he summons a bunch of black Puddles all around. You want to dash out 10 meters and then jump in. If you don't make it in time, you will die. As you can see here, I didn't get far enough out. The next mech is Come My Children. Basically, he'll summon arrows on you. This is similar to Bahar Balls, and you just don't want to put the Puddles in the middle of the arena. I like to target the little lizards with them. There's really no reason to do that. The little lizards eventually are free from their captive shield, and basically they just chase someone in the arena. You can kill them relatively easy. I don't even think I have a clip of that. I don't think PC has a clip of that, and I've only seen it once. Dig and a big AoE. Basically, the boss is going to dig underground and then summon this a big AoE in the area. You just gotta get far enough out. Tanks, you can block this mechanic. And then I believe if someone doesn't stun him quick enough, he's gonna turn and spit fire at someone in the group. The last mech is 20% shield mechanic. At 20%, the boss will summon a shield. You wanna break this, do enough damage, and then stun the boss to keep DPSing him. The basic attacks we didn't really see is right, left, slam, tailspin. Basically, the boss is going to slam both his feet towards the tank. These are blockable, of course. And then he's going to slash his tail or spam his tail at the DPS. You'll want to iframe that. The next one is 180 or 360 spin, and then fire. So the boss does this, actually it is a 360 swirl. No, it's a 180 swirl, I apologize. 180 swirl, and then whoever has secondary aggro, the boss is going to spit fire at. That is all the mechanics in the first boss. The next boss we have is the jumping game mechanic. Basically, you just teleport this stuff over and blah blah blah. This is getting actually removed in console by the next update, so by the time this video is released, this will be removed. I do want to take the time now to thank Taldoc, not only for his guide was what taught me how to learn this dungeon, as well as he's given me permission to use his PC clips, as it is very hard on console with season 1 and past that we do so much damage. Season 2 will, play it by ear. There is a chance that Season 2 is going to have so much endurance and HP that we won't be able to burn past mechanics as easily, and it will be easier for me to make guides. But with that is the first boss. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Go ahead, skip through the rest of this game, and we'll get to the second boss very shortly. Touching every spark, heartbeat is racing, can't let them land up, and Devil's got a plan, controller in my hand. What is a mechanic? Whoa, don't hurt me no more. What is a mechanic? Yeah, dodging on the dance floor. Okay, now that we're at second boss, I do want to pause the clip for a little bit and talk about one major thing about second boss, and that is the healer check. Now, throughout this fight, the boss is going to basically give the DPS tank and healer what's called Frostbite. Not sure if that's what it's actually called, but basically it's a form of Frostbite. It can stack up to 3 times, and every stack of it will turn your bar purple. It can be cleansed off, but it's going to increase the damage tick over time. So with this, you gotta think about throughout this whole fight, You of course want to stay somewhat close to your healer, not get too far away, but healers, you have to remember to cleanse your team every so often, because again, every 10 to 15 seconds, it's going to give everyone a stack of this Frostbite, and if that stack gets up to 3, you are going to be completely frozen, cannot move, cannot do anything, and you're just dead. But with the amount of damage it does do per tick, even for 1 stack, it's something you do want to get cleansed very quickly, as it does a lot of damage, and you gotta manage this while doing all the mechanics that we're gonna cover now. So the very first mech you're gonna have to deal with this boss is the boss stabbing the tank twice and then hitting back waves to DPS. You can either iframe these waves or kind of jump into the middle and then walk forward. That is the first basic attack we're covering. The second thing is the 97% mech, and this is the main mechanic, where if the boss is enraged, you have to go in, out, left, right, and then iframe this swirl or block it. Again, we'll watch that a bit slower. So if the boss is enraged, you will want to stay in, then go out, then go left, right, and iframe the spin. If the boss is not enraged, those mechs get flipped a little, where you gotta go out about 14 meters, then go into the boss, and then instead of it being left, right, it is right, left, and you will still have to deal with that swirl mechanic. And that is the major mechanic of the boss. The next mechanic you're going to see is ice crystals. Now, even though in this video he's doing 2 things at once, let's start with ice crystals, because that is the next mechanic you would see if DPS isn't overpowered. So basically, once the boss is around 85-ish%, he'll summon ice crystals on a random player. He's going to throw 3 sets of ice down from above. Healers, you want to do your best to heal the team through this as much as you can. All 3 ticks do a ton of damage. At 85%, we get the scatter mech. The furthest person will get stunned. Everyone needs to group up and walk through that ice wave. Our mystic was kind enough to jaunt us through this. Again, let's look at it a bit slower. Furthest person stunned, everyone has to group up. If one person is dead, you cannot do it that way, and you all want to walk through that wave together. Now, as I stated, if someone is dead, you can't do it that way. There is a way to cheat the mechanic, and as you can see here on my warrior, I didn't think we were all going to group up too much, so instead I decided to use a movement skill to go through the wave. Because if one person's not grouping up and everyone doesn't get that debuff together, you physically cannot do the mechanic. And as you can see, the mystic does eventually die because we didn't group up quick enough, they took too much damage, and I charging slash through it. That does cause the rest of the team to die because the wave will kill all of everyone stunned, but at least this way, if everyone charges through, the healer can res up, pick up whoever was dead that couldn't group for the mechanic, and you can keep running the dungeon instead of wiping. Now, at 76%, you're going to see Wave Mech. The boss is going to say try to escape this if you can, and if you're the tank, you want to go to one of those little black portals in the front, as Talodoc's doing here. He summons a wave, go to the front, wait for the wave to dissipate from the front and disappear basically, and then you use the portal to go back towards the front. There are 5 of these all around the arena. You're going to use them to get through. Now, there is 2 other ways to cheese this mechanic. DPS, you can just kind of walk away from the boss a little and backstab through that back wave. Or if you're in normal mode, the wave doesn't cover the whole arena. Therefore, you can run far out to the sides and just ignore the mechanic. But do know in hard mode, you cannot do that. You can backstab through it, but you have to either use the portals or get through it. At 65%, we have Submerge and Cage. This is a 3-part mechanic where you'll need to move away from the boss as it rises up and does the pushback, then you want to walk into this cage before the boss is summoning it, staggers you and or kills you to death, and then do Dance Dance Revolution. Don't worry, as I have slowed this mechanic down quite a bit, so let's rewatch it slower. The boss is going to go into the ground. You want to make sure you are near that outermost ring, because the boss will come up, spread that whole area. If you get hit with that, you are going to get a frozen or a frostbite stack, bleeding you out to death. The next portion is get as close to this center, because if you get hit by any part of him swirling, making that cage, he will stagger you and cause basically enough damage that you will die. And as you can see, you can't use skills here, so the healer can't heal you through it. DDR will be the same rotation every time. So once you learn where you could stand that first tick and follow it and just follow through, that is the same every time. There is nothing you have to worry about. Once you understand that center section or that good sweet spot, you always know it's move a little to the left or right, stay out, go in, and you're fine. The last mechanic that's a bigger mechanic is the 40% scream. Basically, the boss is going to give everyone a number 1 through 5, and then 90 seconds after doing this scream, the boss will go underground, target player 1, charge at him. Target player 2, charge at that person. And your goal as a team is to have the boss break both these green crystals, that way you have more of the arena to play. Console, really not a big issue, because you're probably not going to see multiple crystals with the amount of damage we do. And yeah, do know if one person dies, it can cancel the mechanic, or it'll just cancel him from doing that person. The last thing I'm going to cover is basic mechs that I didn't capture. So when the boss breathes fire from right to left in tank perspective, he's going to do a back slam or a belly flop onto DPS. You'll want to iframe this. If he breathes from tank perspective left to right, then he's going to do a belly flop towards the tank. And you'll see that here. He breathes left to right. Tank, you can block that fire. And now he is belly flopping towards the tank, which tanks, you can also block this mechanic. Another basic mechanic that we'll see from PC, again, it's hard for me to capture these, is when the boss does a stab towards the tank, he is going to then belly flop the tank, and then he's going to stab the DPS. If he stabs the DPS first, which is the next one we're going to see, he'll basically stab the DPS, back flop the DPS, and then he'll stop the tank. Again, all of this is blockable and iframeable. You just gotta be cautious and just know when it's happening, know that you want to see it happening. Again, console has a lot of strong DPS. With the changes of the next update, these might become more relevant, we might see it more, or if your DPS is not crazy strong, depending on the group, you just want to see these mechs, because they might be something that shows up a bit more. But for the most part, we don't really see them on Tera Console that much. And that is the end of my Tera Console's normal mode of Ice Throne. If you got any questions, please ask in the comment section. As always, if you liked the video, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing for all future Tera Console guides, as I plan to make a ton of dungeon guides for Season 2. With that, I hope you've enjoyed, and as always, I hope to see you in Aboria, gamers.